I'm not ignoring you. I'm just not ready to start quite yet. Hi everyone. It is Thursday evening and I am here with the Q&A for the week. And today we are going to be talking about two things that we've kind of already touched on, but there was some questions as to if I could go a little bit deeper. So I will do that. The first question is about how do you measure your brand awareness? And we're going to talk a little bit more about that. And the second question is, where do I start? So first question is all about measuring the intangible. So in our business, we are a digital marketing agency where we become the digital marketing department for our clients. And on the other hand, we train marketing people and business owners how to do their digital marketing. We create plans and then we teach them how to execute them. We empower our students and our clients to flex their influence to grow their business. That is what we do every single day with every single task, every single project, every single goal is wrapped around that end in mind. And so that's a little bit about us. So let's talk a little bit about measuring your brand awareness. You have to understand that it's probably one of the most difficult things to measure because your brand awareness is what you're doing, what I'm doing right now in, what is this video going to produce in the long run? At the moment, how many people are even viewing this video? But I will take this video, I will do multiple things with it, and in turn, I am expanding my brand awareness because I am going to give people the opportunity to find me in a bunch of different ways. Okay? So you have to understand that measuring brand awareness is a very complex task, but it's something that you need to be very mindful of. And what you are able to do, you need to be doing it. So one thing that you can do is measure your social media reach. So on Facebook, you can look at your analytics and you can see your reach from week to week. And you might say, well, my reach changes whenever I do a big ad spend. Well, of course it does because now it's getting in front of more people. But Facebook also gives you the opportunity to look at your paid traffic versus your organic traffic. So you want to take note of those numbers and even take a note of what performed better. Was it an image? Was it a video? Was it a funny post? Was it a serious post? Was it a question? You need to keep track of those things. And that way you can create content that you know is already resonating with your audience. Second, with social media, you need to listen. I have a feeling that a lot of people are using social media as a sales tool and only a sales tool and not a relationship building, community building tool. And social media is social media. Social. Be social. It's not sales media. It's not advertised media. It is social media. There is a component of your social media strategy that needs to be very give and not take. So you need to listen. You need to listen for your brand. You need to listen. So what do I mean by listening? Not listen as in with your ears, but listen with an alert. So perhaps set up a Google alert that will alert you anytime someone mentions your brand name. And also set up some Google alerts for your keywords and your phrases, even maybe some competitors. That way you can have a pulse all the time on what's going on. Now, you might be thinking, well, how is that measuring my brand awareness? Well, you have to listen to see if people are talking about you. Because unless someone specifically mentions you on Instagram or Twitter and Facebook, on LinkedIn, if they actually are tagging you, or if they don't tag you, then you don't know if someone's talking about you. And you want to be so on top of it that you are listening for that and you're chiming in on conversations where you see your name. That will help you to wow your customers by dropping in and they know that you're looking. And B, it might even help you to get on the cuff of a conversation that you should be a part of. And third, you might be able to stop a bad customer service experience in its tracks by catching it in its tracks and approaching them and finding out what the problem is and dealing with it, rather than that comment about you and your business just staying out there without your knowledge. So you definitely want to have alerts. You want to be listening to these things. Again, keywords, phrases, and all of that. Okay. You don't want to just limit yourself to only listening for yourself. Okay. Again, phrases, competitors, get the pulse, and also include potential misspellings of your name just in case. So if you know that your name is, your brand name is generally misspelled, put that in there too. Stay on it. So your social media reach will help you to gauge your brand awareness, because if your reach is organically improving every week, then you know that your brand is getting exposure week after week after week. And now I know the questions that are going through your head. You're thinking, and so what? What is that getting me? Well, the person who asked this question has a service that is very on an as-need basis only. So depending on what your industry is, what your service is, you might not be a impulse buy. So someone selling cell phone cases might be an impulse buy for someone with an iPhone, right? Because if it's something that's really cool and I see it in my feed, I could say, oh, okay, $30. Yeah, I'll get that. I didn't need it, but I want it. Now, somebody who even sees our company come up in their feed, they might say, I know I need digital marketing help, but I'm not ready to go there. I'm just not ready to tackle it. Or it's not until they need us that they're going to contact us. We are not technically an impulse buy. So the person who really wanted me to expand on this question, you are not an impulse buy either. And so you have to just continuously be doing what you're doing. Do your Facebook Lives, keep your content going, engage with your audience, keep pumping out that content to stay top of mind. When your people actually do need you, they'll come to you. Now, how do we ensure that they're going to come to you though? And how do we measure that? That's the question of the day. Measure. Again, this is intangible. So a couple ways that you can measure that, or that you can have more tools to measure, is by asking them to take an action. Don't depend on social media don't just depend on social media to increase your numbers, but instead seek to build your email database. And you can do that by offering a free download. You can offer an ebook. You can do a survey. So think about your target client. Think about the problem that they need to solve, or that they have that you can solve. Touch those pain points. Create a 2, 3, 4 question survey and give something away to get them to do it. And you can build your database that way. You can give away an ebook. You can ask a question. Are you a person that blah, 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 blah? Or have you ever been impacted by blah, 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 blah? And we can help you. Get on our mailing list. Ask for that. Because you need to be asking the questions. If you're not asking the question, they never will answer because there's nothing to answer. So if you're constantly just putting up content that doesn't provoke an action, well, you're not going to get that action. The action is what's measurable, really measurable, right? So you want to take it to the next level. So you want to take, basically what I'm saying is you want to take the brand awareness component and you want to create opportunities that will allow you to measure. Okay, so measure that your database is growing. Measure that ebooks are being downloaded. You want them to take the next step. So if you already know that you're getting traffic to your website, how would you know that? Your Google Analytics. If you do not have Google Analytics on your website, or if you have not looked at them, you're going to want to make that a very basic part of your week, your month. Some people might even want to look at it daily. Your Google Analytics will show you how long people have been on your site, where they were referred by. So are they coming from social media? Are they coming from Twitter? Are they coming from Google? You will be able to tell where people are coming from. You'll also be able to see demographics, age, location, and then you can start noticing what content of yours is performing. And I was just on we just did a video today, which will be released in the next couple weeks, with Kara Chase, and she is a Pinterest expert. And she said that it was a turning point for her when she looked at her Google Analytics and saw that the majority of her traffic was coming from Pinterest. So had she never looked at Google, she would have been doing the same thing that that is very mainstream. Right now, it's very mainstream to have a Facebook page, run Facebook ads. It's performing, it's doing the job for a lot of people, a lot of brands, a lot of businesses. But what she found was something very different. And if she had never looked at that data, she would have never known. She has downloads that are performing from 3 years ago that are still helping to build her email list. So that's very, very exciting. But basically, Google Analytics gives you a really in-depth picture of where things are happening. And if things are happening, that's awesome. But you do want that to turn into something. And like I said, this is an intangible thing, brand awareness. I can't hold brand awareness. But you need to get the pulse on your viewers. You need to provoke them to take an action. And once they start taking that action, then you really know that you're making an impact. But if you don't start, then you'll never know, right? Right. So lastly, I want you to think about, there are parts of your brand awareness that you're just going to have to know that you're doing it. And that's by being consistent in your posts, not being desperate in your posts. Don't be desperate in your posts. Don't constantly promote your business. That is not building community. Building community is solving a problem or giving helpful information, just like what I'm doing right now. This is not a paid consultation. This is me just coming alive at 6 p.m. on a Thursday to impart some of my wisdom. So, you need to know that taking those steps, it's not in vain. I have a friend who has a database of about 3,000 emails, so nothing crazy. It's pretty small numbers, really. And she was telling me that she was kind of getting down on the fact that her list wasn't really performing the way other people talk about their list and how it converts to this and that. And so she was feeling like she kind of missed the boat on her list building. Like she had the wrong audience. Anyway, she's had this list for 4 years, and just recently she was approached by a company who gets her emails once a month. Okay, she's not going crazy. It's once a month. And they approached her for a pretty significant project, and she was top of mind because they get her email every month. This company has never once emailed her. They've never commented on anything. For all she knows, she told me she can't even remember if she has seen them open the email. Because as you know, the email providers show us who opens what and who clicks what and all that. And she said, I can't even think of a time that I've even seen their name come up. So what does that go to show? Her brand awareness was just, it was there. It was an ever present, and the right people kept watching. And in turn, she has the potential to be working on a huge project. And there's probably more of those on that list. So you keep going. You don't stop when you don't see the fruit. If you are in business for the long haul, you keep building. You keep going. Okay? That is all about measuring your brand awareness. If you have more questions about that, this is a Facebook Live. Obviously, this is something that we do, as our business. So if you're feeling like I want to know more, I need to do more, then message us and we'll talk to you about how you can work with us. We have a lot of great ways, and we customize all of our packages and all of that stuff. And I'm happy to explore that with you. Okay, so next on the list is, where do I start? Where do I start? Everybody's question. I think we've answered something similar to this like every week. It's like, what do I do? Where do I start? So I'll answer this question all day long, and there's probably different answers. But for today, in the comments, you'll see a download. So I want you to look at that download. And you don't even have to give me your email. Yeah, I didn't even get tricky on you. This is all just, I want you to just have this, okay? And when I say tricky, you know how there's email gates. You can't get something unless you give us your email. But I didn't want to do that today. I just want to give you the content, okay? So this is what we have. This is the Social Business Plan Resource Checklist. And I use this and I update it every so often so I can answer that question in the form of a list. Who doesn't love a list, right? I put this together because the question, where do I start, comes up a lot. So the first thing, I'm going to run through this with you. And the first thing that you want to do is you need to define who is going to be in charge of your digital marketing. Is it you as the business owner? Is this the best way for you to spend your time and your resources by doing your own digital marketing, learning how to do it? If the answer to that is yes, then awesome. Then that's you. Maybe it's someone who is already in your marketing department, or maybe it's someone on your team. I worked with a company one time who, they were a construction company, and they were going to hire us to do their digital marketing. And in a meeting, one of the first things I say is there anyone on your team who could do this, who could potentially do your digital marketing so you don't have to hire us? You're probably thinking, why would you do that? Because I'm here to serve. I'm not here to sell. I know I would rather find you the best solution, right? So he said, well, there's one guy on the construction site who obviously showed some characteristics that he would be good at marketing. So the owner and I had a conversation with him, and he was all about it. Long story short, we built the strategy and we trained him on certain items, and he was ready to go, and he does their social media to this day. So he even did a career change. So that's very exciting. So anyway, question number 1. So you need to define who's going to do it. And then you need to say how much time. Are you going to hire someone 40 hours a week to do it? That's fine. That's a lot of digital marketing, and I love it because there will be no stone unturned. Now, I do want to give you a word of caution that sometimes we hire people and then you get so busy, they end up doing a million other things, and then social media just becomes like the back burner. I see it all the time, okay? So do not put this on your back burner. This is important. So if you're going to hire someone, let them really do this well, okay? And give them a time. What's your budget? So you'll need a budget for personnel if it's not going to be you, an agency if you were going to hire someone, or ad budget, software that you'll need, all of that stuff, okay? So these are all things that you're going to need to consider. That's the first thing. That is the first thing that you think about. You don't go on to Canva and create something and post it. That's not the first thing that you do. First thing you do is strategize, okay? Now, the next step is under start, okay? And that is know your target audience. And you might say, well, I know my target audience, so what next? Then you need to know where they are online. If you are targeting moms who have their own business, then you're probably going to want to definitely have a presence on Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest. If you are targeting business owners, women business owners, then you're probably going to want to spend time on LinkedIn and Facebook. And if you have extra time, I would say Twitter and Instagram and even Pinterest. So it all goes back to how much time you have to learn and develop a plan for each of these channels. Yes. So if you're going to say yes to a channel, you're going to have to do it right. Then you're going to want to know what voice you're going to want to have online. You know, think about that. That might even come later, but this is something to think about at the start. And then stay on brand. So whether it's you, someone on your team, or an agency, they need to know your voice and they need to know your brand. These are all very important pieces. Okay? And then we move on to publishing. Actually, let's go to lead generation. Because before you start publishing, you need to know what actions you want people to take. Okay? And now I need to stop us right here to say this checklist is an excellent checklist. It's not technically in order because it all depends on who you have on your team and what you need. So the lead generation piece is very important because you do not want to just start posting on social media without having a plan of what action you want your viewers to take, right? Okay. So, list your business goals. What are your main business goals? I want to sell more units. I want more email subscribers. I want more people at my events. Then that becomes your call to action. And you need to make a list of that. And so in our Flex Your Influence membership, I have tons of resources that give you templates to create your content plan and places where you can put in your call to action and things like that. So all of that is available when you become a member of Flex Your Influence. But that is super important to know. Your social media goals they need to be in line with your business goals. These departments do not work separately. I've been in business for 8-9 years now. I've worked with, I don't even know how many companies, and I can't tell you how many successful companies. You look at these companies, you think, wow, they have it going on. And when I get into the company, I realize that sales doesn't talk to marketing, and neither of them talk to customer service. And none of them are talking to upper management and C-suite. I'm not kidding you. Everyone has their own internal goals, but they're not working collaboratively. So I can only imagine what could happen if they all started working together. How do we touch our customers through digital marketing? How do we create more sales? How do we market better through digital marketing? All of us, all of these groups and departments should be working together. I hope that makes sense. I'm sure it does. So I actually want to stop there because this is a very in-depth checklist, and I don't want to do a disservice to publishing and engagement and so on and so forth. So you need to start with the foundation and the starting pieces, your brand, your message. I think a lot of people might even be stuck on the foundation because they're just not sure. And again, if you have questions, message us. We have done for you and done with you options, but I'm your resource. Our team is your resource. We have a team of 8 people who are amazing at what they do, and we will train you or we'll do it for you. You know, this is your business, and you have support is what I'm saying. So anyway, happy Thursday. I think that is it for me right now. Again, if you have any questions, message me. And if not, I will see you next week. I hope you're taking the long weekend off. I do have family in town starting tomorrow, so I will definitely be taking the holiday off myself. And it's also my grandmother's, I won't say her age because she doesn't like when I do that. So it's my grandma's birthday, so I'm super excited this weekend. So anyway, thank you. Have an awesome night, and I'll talk to you soon.